Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com, coming to look at the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series FireKeepers Casino 400 this weekend at Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. I'm going to talk about that race here in a couple of minutes. Speaking of races, over at BangTheBook.com, we've got previews up for the Belmont Stakes, the Acorn Stakes, and also a preview podcast with Brian Blessing that we recorded on Wednesday for the Belmont Stakes. So lots of stuff going on here in the horse racing world this weekend. You definitely want to make sure that you're checking out what's going on over at Belmont here for the upcoming races. Also a great video preview here on our Bang the Book YouTube channel with Brian, talking about his thoughts on the Belmont Stakes coming up this weekend. Of course, we've got coverage of the NBA and the NHL playoffs for as long as those are still going. And we've got daily Major League Baseball content over at BangTheBook.com as well, including the Bettor's Box, my podcast every Thursday. And then we'll have a UFC show here on Friday with Chris Chapina to break down UFC 238. All right, so we get into the FireKeepers Casino 400 here. As you can see the odds on the screen, Kyle Busch, your favorite, plus 290. Kevin Harvick, plus 475. Martin Truex Jr., plus 625. Brad Keselowski, plus 650. Chase Elliott, plus 1050. Joey Logano, also plus 1050. Kyle Larson, plus 1,300. Denny Hamlin, plus 1,650. The rest of the field on down out there at 20-1 or higher. This is a 2-mile track at Michigan, one of the longest tracks on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit. Only Daytona, Talladega, Sonoma, and Indianapolis Motor Speedway are longer. As we look at the NASCAR season here so far, only 6 drivers have a victory. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Martin Truex Jr. have 10 of the 16 wins here this season. So notable guys without a win: Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, a couple of guys I happen to be looking at here this weekend in this race. The race at Auto Club Speedway earlier on this season was a 2-mile race that was won by Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin won on the big track at Daytona. Chase Elliott winning at Talladega. But of course, Daytona and Talladega, as we know, both restrictor plate races. But Chase Elliott having a very fine season here. 5 straight top 5 finishes, 6 on the year. Does tend to run pretty well at these bigger tracks. So maybe in the 10-1 range, he's a guy that you may want to look at. Denny Hamlin and Kurt Busch, the only multiple winners of this race in particular. But the guy that I'm looking at here this weekend is Kyle Larson. 3 career wins at Michigan International Speedway, 4 on the big tracks in his career. Last week we had him in the preview for the race at Pocono, won the first 2 stages, then got into the wall, finished 26th, won both All-Star events in Charlotte, the Monster Energy Open and the All-Star race. So he's getting very, very close here to picking up that first win. Was plus 1,450 earlier in the week, down now to plus 1,300. But Kyle Larson, my top choice here for the FireKeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway. If you want to look at one of the lower prices here as well, I think Kevin Harvick is your guy at plus 475. He's had a lot of bad luck here this season. Last year it was a tire penalty last week I should say, it was a tire penalty that cost him. This is a race about the car. This is a big track. You don't have to shift. You don't have to be constantly working the wheel. This is a big track. When you talk about speed, when you talk about the ability to get out there and run at the front of the pack, Kevin Harvick always has the speed. Whether or not something goes wrong usually dictates how far behind the winners he finishes. But this is a guy that always has a good car, and with fewer things that can go wrong from an accident standpoint, from a mechanical standpoint here, with just an easier race, a lot different in the turns, stuff like that. I think that Kevin Harvick is the best of the short prices this week. But again, at plus 1,300, it's very, very hard to pass on Kyle Larson here in the FireKeepers Casino 400. More thoughts in my preview over at BangTheBook.com. So please make sure that you check that out. And also be on the lookout here for more NFL season win total content right on our Bang the Book YouTube page. 6 divisions done so far. Brian Blessing will be doing the AFC West and the NFC West here in the very near future. So we're starting to think football over at the website and right here on our Bang the Book YouTube channel as well. I'm Adam Burke for BangTheBook.com.